The Flash Season 3, Episode 22, Infantino Street. Of course, this is the episode leading up to the Season 3 finale, and it certainly didn't go the way I expected. I honestly thought, honestly, in the very beginning, I didn't even think we'd actually get to the end of the night with Savitar killing Iris. I thought it was going to be like, it's 24 hours, maybe we'd see them go through most of the day, and then the next episode would start at the beginning of that, and, we just have to see what happens. But it goes through the whole 24 hours. Everybody's freaking out, of course, at the beginning of the episode where it's like, it's the 24 hours, so it's midnight, and everybody's doing everything they can, or simply freaking out, because no one really knows what's going to happen. And as we go through the episode, they answer quite a few questions, because, of course, my big question was, first off, Snart, like what the deal was with that. And the other big question was, and this is like my, main question to you all during my last review, what were they going to do as far as new memories that would actually help them stop Savitar? Because they proved in the last episode, anything that Barry does, even if it's new, Savitar will still have it because of that weird cycle. Even if it technically never happened to him, now it technically has. Even if it's brand new, it happens. And, they showed that with Wally not having his powers, and, Savitar not knowing who he was because Barry didn't know who he was and stuff like that. Even though there's a whole other issue with that, because Savitar, if Wally didn't have his powers, then technically I feel like Savitar should have, there's more stuff that should have happened, considering they showed Wally didn't get his powers, but that's semantics. So they answered a few questions. First off with Snart, they just jump through time. It makes sense. I should have figured that out. That should have been really obvious. Barry always jumps through time. There will always be a reason for him to jump through time. There might not even need to be a reason for him to jump through time. It's Barry Allen. We've seen the show. He will jump through time. That is what he will do. That's plain and simple. So he goes back to season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow, basically. So he goes back and he ends up, he picks up Snart and is like, hey, I need your help. So he brings him along so that they can steal from Argus, which that was another one of the things. Because I was like, okay, well, why can't, if it's being held by Argus, why can't they just talk it out? Which they do, and Lila had a pretty stupid reason, and it basically created the whole length of the episode, really. That's pretty much it. It was kind of dumb, because it was, she was worried that it could be put into the wrong hands if it was stolen, and I'm just like, nobody's, I don't know, it was confusing. I'm like, nobody's looking for this thing. Nobody really even knows it exists, I'm sure. So all this stuff is moot about other people and all this crap. Savitar don't give a crap about this. Like he's got super speed. He doesn't need the Speed Force cannon and like control the world. He's got like beyond super speed at this point. So it's like, a whole random issue. So he has to go through with Snart. They go through. They end up going up against King Shark. We get a reference to Grodd. We get a reference to Cheetah, which I believe Cheetah was supposed to be a reference to Wonder Woman because of her main, or one of her like main enemies. I believe. I don't really remember that character's name, but she is like a cheetah. I don't know if it's as simple as her name is Cheetah. I don't remember, to be totally honest, but I'm pretty sure that was meant to be a Wonder Woman reference, since Wonder Woman is like the next movie coming up. So that was interesting. They talk about the Suicide Squad because they have Cupid in there. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool that they kind of reference where some of those characters have ended up. We get to King Shark. We have a cool little moment between Barry and Snart where, of course, Barry can't use his powers, so that's why he had to get Snart in the first place. And it's like, alright, well, we got King Shark in there. They go through the plan and stuff. And I loved everything about how it all played out. Like, they go through, Barry's using HR's device from the other planet, so I thought that was pretty cool, because I was like, man, what is he using? And I forgot that they introduced that like a super long time ago. I completely forgot. So, we get to see that device show up again. They beat up the guards in the front. I guess nobody else is in the building at all, so they get to, they get to the basement, and they have to deal with King Shark, and Snart brings up like the Shark Week stuff, so they knock him out. And they go through some of these processes, and they get the device. Of course, an alarm goes off. Barry escapes, and he decides that he can't leave Snart behind, which he totally couldn't do, even if he was like, I gotta save Iris. Technically, he could have saved her and then jumped back in time, because it's Barry Allen. He could have done that, but he really couldn't, like, they couldn't let Snart die, because if they did that, they really would have screwed up so much of the timeline. It would have been ridiculous with, Legend of Tomorrow. But, of course, he doesn't end up leaving him behind, and everything works out. He saves him. They chop off King Shark's hand, even though it instantly regrows, which I personally thought was a pretty cool scene. And then Lila shows up. She does reference the fact that the reason she's giving Barry the item, once again, This is one of the things I thought was dumb, because in the beginning, like I said, I thought it was a stupid point to be like, these random evil hands out of nowhere might end up stealing the device from the dude who literally has enough speed to jump through time and dimension. I don't know, I don't know. So that was her point in the beginning. Someone could possibly steal it from the dude who's like literally the fastest man on the planet, or even a younger version of the fastest, fastest man alive. And then her reasoning for letting him take the device was basically, he's still kind of good because he wouldn't leave Snart behind. I'm like, that doesn't need, then just, what, he's the superhero. Like, I don't know. Like, basically her point was like, you proved you're a hero up to like this level, and you're only like right here when we talked earlier, so go ahead. And I was just like, well, that was just dumb, especially because she was watching it, and I don't know, I guess she was just waiting to see what would happen, because clearly she was like, I saw everything on the monitor, and I was like, okay, so they were just, standing around in a circle jerk, I guess, just waiting for them to figure it out and survive against King Shark. So it just didn't make sense. That was like the one big issue I had. I was like, she's making a very bad point in the beginning of the episode, and then at the end of the episode is like, so she saw a lot more of what happened than when she like just showed up at the last minute. She was watching a bunch of stuff on the computer monitors, and that's what made her decide. I'm like, that's a lot of stuff that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But that was like the one issue I had. Everything else I thought was pretty cool. They pretty much do everything they can to save Iris. Of course, they're working on the Speed Force Bazooka. They get the device at the end of the episode. They have Iris and Joe. They end up going to Earth 2, which I thought was pretty cool. We get to see Earth 2 wells, which is sweet. And I love the way they ended the episode. I like the way, well, I don't love the way they ended it, but leading up to the ending was pretty cool, because it's like, all right, Barry's got the device. He runs in. It's like, all right, well, where's Iris? Because this is during the time where Barry was away, so of course Savitar doesn't have these memories. And that was something that they did even after things kind of fell apart. Barry was like, alright, well, whatever our final plan is going to be, I can't be here for it, because then Savitar will know. So I thought it was great the way they did that. And I saw that picture, I saw it like last week, of Savitar in Barry's outfit, and I completely forgot. So when it happened, it still surprised me. I was like, oh crap, I totally forgot that happened. I forgot I saw that picture. So he turns around, and of course he goes to Earth 2, and he ends up kidnapping Iris. I thought they were for sure going to end up killing, I thought they were going to end up killing Earth 2 Wells, because of course he had the gun, but that doesn't end up happening. And so he, of course, kidnaps Iris. Joe ends up going back with Barry, and that's where they get to our final moment. And one of the big things that they're definitely teasing for the end of this season is HR being the one to at least help. If he's not the one to deliver the final blow, he's at least going to help take down Savitar, because he's going to have that final piece that can actually get through his suit, because it was a former piece of the suit. So I don't know if that means we are going to lose HR, or what that means, but it was a very somber moment where he was freaking out about how he doesn't really deliver much for the team and stuff like that. And Cisco kind of gave him the pep talk, like, you're always there when we need you the most, and stuff like that. And it's like, alright, well, he's looking at the dagger, and it didn't show up at the end of this episode. That was another reason I thought he'd end up sacrificing himself. I thought he would do it in the episode, and he'd get there in time, and he would actually like stab Savitar, and like that split second would change everything and allow Barry to get Iris, and then they could take things to the next level. But we'll see what he does with that in the season finale. But of course, we get to that final moment. They have the Speed Force Bazooka and everything. Had a little Ghostbusters moment with Barry trying to hit Savitar, and he's just lighting everything up. But he ends up hitting him. And I'm like, okay, he got him, but I can tell that something weird is happening here. And at first, it looked like he was absorbing the lightning and getting more powerful, which really made me worried. But then he just dissipated it all. And it's like, hey, I was in that for like an eternity. Check it out. I got the Philosopher's Stone, and I'm impervious to it. And I was like, yep, I didn't think of that at all, and no one on the show thought of it either. And I was like, that would have made a lot of sense to have some sort of contingency for that. Like, let's just chuck a grenade, maybe not a grenade because Iris was there. Something, I don't know. Let's just knock that out of his hand and then try to hit him. But no one really thought of it. So ultimately, at the end of all of this, we have Barry running up to Iris, and everything that we thought was going to be stopped is exactly what happened, and she dies in front of him. And now we have to wait and see what happens in this finale. And of course, we have Cisco versus Caitlyn, which, we knew that was happening. That was another thing where I thought really didn't make too much sense, because I'm like, Barry went to the future, and he knows that Cisco kind of lost that battle, but he was like, go talk to her because this is the last chance we have. I'm like, you guys need to be switching some stuff up. Like, I mean, like HR was saying in this episode, he was doing some stuff that was smart because he was saying like anything and everything, like, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's send her to Paris, or let's, Earth 2. But everybody's just like, no big deal. She's just like, I'm just going to put on my death jacket this morning. And Barry's just like, go talk to her, even though your arms are going to get frozen off. And Cisco saw the future that whole time, and Barry going into the future, knowing what was going to happen, should have been like, hey, this is what happened with future you. Maybe just don't go. Like, just come help me. Open up some portals, drop Savitar on his back, I don't know, anything. And it's just like, nope, go ahead. It was like nobody was paying attention to the fact that this was meant to be the future. Everybody was just doing exactly what they were supposed to do. And it's just like, man, nobody was trying, at least to me, except for HR. So we'll see how that plays out. We still have HR showing up because they did reference the beginning of the season when they were going through the visions and stuff, or the second half of the season, I guess. When they were going through the visions and everything, there was a vision where HR was there. And I thought for a minute when we saw Earth 2 Wells that he was going to actually be the one that ends up going back to Earth 1. And it would be him that was actually there. But I guess it'll still end up being HR. It's hard to say because he wasn't there at all now. So it's really weird how they're going to decide to play around with all that stuff. But it'll be interesting to see. We're going into a pretty crazy season finale. I would imagine they're going to find some way to bring Iris back to life, but I really don't know. It's really, really hard to say how they're going to end up playing out this season finale, but very excited for it, of course. Very excited for where we're going to be headed by the end of the season. Like, they're going to defeat Savitar, stop this crazy death cycle, and then poof, season 4 random issues and teasers. So certainly looking forward to the season finale, of course, but we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and naturally, I want to know what you guys want to see for the season finale, and of course, I want to know your theories for how they're going to end this season, whether you think it'll be good, bad, whatever, who's going to live, who's going to die, if there will be multiple characters that die. I just want to know your theories on it. I guess we'll only have Barry and Cisco fighting the villains because, of course, Wally gets his leg broken, which I mentioned before. When Barry went to the future, it's either they break your spine or they break your legs because you run. So, of course, that happened again. He ends up having his leg broken. So, he's down for the count. I would assume for the next episode, I mean, we'll see how many days they choose to skip between this and the next one, but I would imagine it's going to pick up right where this one left off. Even based on the promo, it seems to be like the exact same night. So, we'd love to know your theories and just what you guys want to see for this finale. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.